Welcome to WtT, where we cut through all the noise to get you the news you can actually use. And today we have a wild story for you. We're going to unpack how a huge tech partnership got completely torpedoed, and it all started because of a hunt for a lost dog. Seriously.
Yeah, you heard that right. Picture this. It's the Super Bowl, the biggest TV event of the year. Amazon's Ring, the doorbell company, they run this ad for a new AI feature. And on the surface, it seemed super innocent, just a nice way for neighbors to help find a missing pet. But what nobody knew was that this one little ad was about to set off a massive chain reaction, one that would completely blow up a major deal.
So, the big question is, how on earth does a cute ad about finding your lost puppy lead to the collapse of a serious police technology partnership? Well, that's exactly what we're digging into today. And believe me, the answer tells us a ton about where things are heading with big tech, our privacy, and the incredible power of public pressure.
All right, so to really get what happened here, we've got to break down the two main players at the heart of this thing. On one side, you've got a company you definitely know, and on the other, a very powerful company that you've probably never even heard of.
Okay, so first up is Ring. You know them. They're owned by Amazon, and they make all those smart doorbells and cameras for your house. It's all about consumer home security. But then you've got Flock Safety, and they are a whole different ballgame. They're a police tech provider. They make stuff like automated license plate readers, and their clients are law enforcement agencies all over the country. So think about it. One is focused on your front porch, the other is focused on the street.
So the big idea, which they announced back in October, was to build a bridge between these two worlds. The plan was to let Ring users, if they wanted to, optionally share their camera footage directly with police departments who are using Flock's system. The stated goal here was pretty straightforward: make it easier to collect evidence and help out with investigations. Sounds simple enough, right?
Well, it was simple. Until the Super Bowl. That's when everything changed. What was supposed to be this, heartwarming ad for a cool new feature, it just exploded into a massive controversy. And suddenly, that whole partnership was put under a giant microscope.
So this new feature was called Search Party. And the way it worked was, say your dog runs off. You could jump into the app, activate Search Party, and it would use AI to scan the camera footage from all your neighbors who also had Ring and were participating. It'd be looking for images that matched your pet. I mean, you can see how that's a pretty powerful tool for sure.
But a lot of people saw something else, something much more worrying. Privacy advocates, like the Electronic Frontier Foundation, they didn't waste any time. They immediately labeled it a surveillance nightmare. See, for them, this wasn't really about finding lost pets. It was about creating this enormous, privately owned surveillance network that could, in theory, be used to search for, well, anything or anyone.
And we're not just talking about a few angry comments online, no way. The backlash was intense. You had privacy and civil liberties groups demanding that Ring kill the deal with Flock. There was even a protest plan to take place right outside Amazon's headquarters in Seattle. And this fits into a bigger pattern we're seeing across the tech world, with employees at places like Google and Salesforce really pushing back on their companies working with government agencies.
Look, stories like this are so important because they show that public pressure can actually shape the technology that affects our lives. And if you want to stay on top of these kinds of stories, the ones that really matter, this is a great time to like and subscribe to WtT. We'd also love to know what you think, so drop a comment below.
Okay, so the pressure is building from all sides, right? You've got the public, you've got these advocate groups, the threat of real-world protests, and then Ring made a move, a very big, very sudden move. So here's the official story. Ring put out a statement saying they were canceling the whole Flock integration. The reason they gave? They said it would require significantly more time and resources than anticipated. Basically, a logistics and cost issue. A very clean, very corporate explanation.
And they were really clear about one thing. A spokesperson confirmed that this partnership was never actually turned on. It was just a plan. It never went live. They said, and I'm quoting here, no videos were ever shared between these services. So just to be crystal clear, no user footage was ever actually handed over. So let's put it all together. The official reason is all about time and money. But you just can't ignore the timing and the context here, right? This decision comes down right in the middle of this massive public backlash. With protests being organized, it all just seems a little too convenient, don't you think?
All right, so a big tech deal fell apart? So what? Why should you care? Well, this is the most important part of the story. This is the news you can use part, where we talk about what this all means for you.
The number one lesson here is that public pressure works. Seriously, your voice, our collective voices, they actually have power. This isn't some feel-good fantasy. We literally just saw a company owned by Amazon do a complete 180 on a major plan, all because people spoke up. That is a huge deal.
And if you're a Ring user, or really a user of any smart home tech, here's what you should do right now. Step 1. Open up your Ring app and go through your sharing settings. Seriously, take a look and see what you've agreed to share. Step 2, from now on, whenever a new feature pops up, especially an AI one like Search Party, don't just mindlessly tap Agree. Treat it as a real decision. Take a minute to figure out what it actually does before you turn it on.
Which really brings us to the massive question at the center of all of this, doesn't it? Where do we draw the line between security and surveillance? I mean, we all want our homes and neighborhoods to be safe, but what are we willing to give up to get there? What this whole saga shows us is that the line is getting fuzzier all the time. And it looks like it's up to us, as the people using this tech, to decide where that line gets drawn. Thanks for tuning in to What the Tech.